Welcome to Sheni V'Chamishi. There's a story we heard in Cheder about a Chacham, and a Muslim couple comes to the Chacham for advice because he got angry. He came home and she made dinner and the food was dry as a bone, and he was angry, and he told her 3 times, "You're divorced." And now he wants to know what to do because his anger settled. L'chaim, July 4th, we live in a country where people are rational, the government is rational, enough rational people that we could survive. So the local Muslim scholar, or the wise man of the area, didn't have the great advice that the Chacham had. The Chacham said, you're not divorced just because you yelled 3 times. It could have been that they had it in their Halakha, their Sharia law, that you say 3 times divorced as a process of ceremony, not as a way of anger. Just like when you have a story about a Rav who sent a couple home for 30 days that he should call her at a certain name in order to make the get, because he knew it was a trick, because he knew that this argument would settle. So he told her name is Liba, you have to call her Liba for 30 days, then I could write the get properly. But here the story we were told was the greatness of this Chacham, how smart he is and how Goyim came to him for advice. But we're not understanding the other part of the story. Why is it that these Muslims who were believers in the Prophet Muhammad can ask advice by someone who does not believe in Muhammad, who is considered an unbeliever or not bikairis? He believes in Moshe Rabbeinu, but that's not enough for them. It's a real issue. And the answer is that there weren't enough instigators and people to morally panic these simple people. So they weren't highly sophisticated, skeptical Muslims who were philosophers, who laughed at religion totally, but at the same time they weren't panicked and told that Jews are evil and devils. So they went to a Jewish rabbi with a question that is so sensitive and important. It's a question of gittin, marriages and divorces, and how can they go by the advice of a rabbi? And the answer is those people were better. They weren't they weren't brainwashed, but at the same time they weren't highly sophisticated, which would make them scientists. So when we hear the story, we think of the greatness of the Torah, but in the end of the day, we can't even convince the Torah world to take us seriously. When you have as one Litvish Abacher said to me, the cream of the crop of Chabad, Koilo, made a likut about the Erev, a bunch of copy and paste. We're like Christian missionaries looking at the Talmud. And copying and pasting stuff, and when an Orthodox Jew hears it, he goes, this guy doesn't know, he doesn't get it, he doesn't have a relationship with the text, he can't read. So when we try to show that we can learn, but we don't know the ruach and the mahalach of Torah, because average Lubavitcher young man never spent a week like a yeshivacation in a proper Litvish yeshiva. A week of your 80 years of your life you never did in a Litvish yeshiva. You're not curious about Torah, science and philosophy and the library. I understand that you went your whole life without it, which makes you living a very cheap, immature life. However, Torah. So the Torah world is they're not choshed us that we know how to learn. They're not thinking maybe we have what to offer. They just know we're good people, like Biker Chaylim will bring the sandwiches when they need it overseas. Today, we in a community where they don't look at the Rav as a wise man. It's there's a reason for that, because if he was, he was. You know, if it works, it works. Science works. That's why we respect it. Philosophers are honest. That's why we respect them. Secular people are know what's important in life, and their meaning in life is more meaningful than the meaning that we're trying to sell, but we're not convincing anybody. So the story is where the Arab goes to the non-believer Chacham and asks advice. How is that possible? And it tells you that these Arabs were very in a good place. Halavai, we would be where they are. Halavai. We would be able to not be geniuses, but this whole issue with the aid of trying to threaten people about Yayin Esech, they're not going to be able to touch the wine, we could easily solve that problem. We can get an honest consensus of how many Chabadnikim are okay with drinking wine that a Machal Shabbos B'Farhesia touched. And when the consensus will be 80/20, you won't be able to threaten people anymore. They'll say, okay, we respect it. It's a beautiful spiritual thing that you don't let anyone touch your wine. But we're from the 80%. We're the mainstream. Have a nice day. And we'll make that poll. This is why we have Facebook and the internet, and when you have a little Ganav who's running around, like this whole Judaism is worthless to him when it comes to stealing someone else's kaiftsim, this Hellinger. So this Hellinger running around and running to shuls, and he's on video like a Ganav stealing the likuts over there, and he's like a fan of Rabbi Heller. All his davening and everything, boom, gone. Little street guy. Today we have social media, and we're just going to say, look, you're wonderful, you have a wonderful religion, but we are not of your... We don't share your God, we don't share anything with you. Im Yamina, Asmaila, like Avram told Lot. You go right, I go left. You go left, I go right. Have a nice day. And that's possible today with social media. So trying to suppress information because you're afraid, trying to suppress the results, the polls, the voting, the democracy, trying to suppress it, trying to steal the printing, the kaiftim, is, besides that you're wrong, you're also losing. Thank you for watching.